Okay, we're going to head into the second exercise here, which is making a simple shape tween. And it's going to be easier to see what a shape tween is rather than kind of explain it. Shape tweens are done a little bit differently, but basically what we're doing is we're going to morph one shape into another shape. It's the type of tween you do when you are sort of turning one object into another. There's going to be several instances probably throughout the semester where you're going to want to do that. Okay, so I have the old file here. What I'm going to do is sort of make a new file. So I'm going to go File, New, the ActionScript 3.0, of course. Hit OK. You'll note that you can have almost like a web browser. You can have these different tabs open. Okay. So I'm going to close out one of those. This is my motion tween, which I just did, and here's my new file that I'm going to work on this shape tween with. Now, we're going to go up to step 4 here, and this is on the making a simple shape tween file. It says choose the oval tool in the toolbox. So again, I apologize last time. This toolbox was sort of a sort of difficult thing to show with the restrictions of the screen capture window. So I'm going to be using the tools like this. Yours probably are going to lay out all the way down the left-hand side, but all this should look the same. It says we're going to choose the oval tool, and we're going to draw on the actual stage a circle. So I'm going to keep that green that I used before, and instead of making a symbol that then morphs into something, we're going to do this directly on the stage. Okay, so I'm going to hold down Shift and make this green circle. Okay. Step 6 says this will create a new keyframe in frame 1 of layer 1, which is right up here. Okay. Then it says move up to frame 60. So I'm going to sort of do that 60 frame again, and then it says insert timeline blank keyframe. Okay, this is different than inserting the frame, and I'm going to sort of talk about what that is. So what we have here when we insert a blank keyframe is we basically state that that green circle is going to be there until frame 60. I'm inserting a blank keyframe. Remember, the keyframe is sort of a point in time that we define something. We want this blank because we want to define what it's turning into. Okay, and then we're going to sort of create the shape tween in between those. Okay, so it says step 10. It says while on that, or sorry, step 9. While on that blank keyframe, choose the rectangle tool. I'm going to go over here. Rectangle tool is right next to our oval tool, and I'm going to change the color as well. So red. It says draw a rectangle of a different color on that frame. Okay, so I have the rectangle tool, and I'm going to draw a rectangle. Okay, so right now we have the elements. Okay, we have the green circle and then the red rectangle. Okay, all we have to do now is create the shape tween in between those. You've heard the term tween and in between a bunch. Making a tween is basically comes from the word in between. And you're asking it to create those in-between frames. Okay, this is an important idea in relation to animation. We have a keyframe here, and we have a keyframe here, and now we are going to insert shape tween. Okay, you'll note that the shape tween looks different. It's a green color, and we can pull our playhead here, and it's going to create all those in-between frames. Okay. So that's basically a shape tween. You're going to do the file, save as. Let's do that again. And yours is going to be. Please make sure you use these naming conventions. I have to grade a ton of files, so I need your name on that on those files. It just makes my life a little easier. I'm going to hit save. And remember, when we test the movie, it's going to create that SWIF. Okay, so a couple things about this, because I have some time left on this video. You'll note, and this is going to be the case until we get into some scripting, your movie just wants to, I always say, go, go, go. It's just going to play, play, play. Later, we're going to be able to add some stops, and when we get into buttons, interactivity that can control the action. But for now, this is what I want your movies to look like. Okay. So for this week, just as a reminder, you're handing in that motion tween SWIF and this SWIF. Those are going to go into the Dropbox as SWIFs. Do not give me .fla files. I don't want those. Those would be files that maybe you give me if you're having a problem or if you're working on something complex later. I might want to see that. Okay. So we have your motion tween and your shape tween. Okay. Last thing I'll talk about, and this is more of a concept and a little bit of history in relation to animations. This keyframe idea came from traditional animation, meaning animation where you would draw, you know, a Disney movie from the 1950s or something. The sort of more well-known artists would draw what was called keyframes. So that would be when Donald Duck was sort of standing, thinking about something for a longer period of time, and they would hire lesser-known artists and students and people that weren't as important to that animation process to draw these in between frames. They're often called cells. So a lot of times you can see actually like on, you know, a shopping TV show or whatever, where they're selling those in between drawings. Okay. The great thing about Flash and the great thing about using a piece of software is that it makes up that information for us. Okay. So that's this idea of keyframes, and that's that idea of tweens. Again, we're going to be doing much more complex versions of these, but for this week you should be handing in this motion tween and this shape tween. Any questions, concerns, please email me or use the chat for my office hour if you want to chat about something online. Next week we'll have several more exercises. We're going to get more complex as we move through this. This is just sort of a get your feet wet with Flash and hopefully sort of see what's going on in relation to these concepts. Again, email me with questions. Otherwise, get these two SWIFT files in. Make sure you read the week 2 file on D2L. There's a few things you got to take care of.